up here at all. I know I was watching the beloved pastor of this wonderful church back in the office as we were praying and preparing for tonight, and I've never seen him so nervous in all my life. And then it hit me. I think he was going down and looking at the lineup, and he came to my name. He said, what was I thinking? And then I'm sitting between Brother Marty and Brother Ira, and I'm not feeling any breeze. They're hogging all of it. And I'm about to suffocate. So it's so nice to step up and realize there is a breeze tonight. Well, that's been good, hasn't it? I mean, we could go home, and after I'm done, you probably wish you could have. But in case you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. I'm the sermonator. I was stirred last time we were together to preach on a Good Friday. We were at Brother Ira Lightsey's, and we were in his office, and he has a stack. I think he calls them rags. Is that what you call them? They're towels, but they're little washcloths. And so I said, I've got to get one that says sermonator so nobody else will wipe their sweat all over it. But you all, really, I'm going to say tonight, folks, you sound like a bunch of Baptists. You're just like sitting there and not saying much. You've heard some great preaching. Amen. There you go. It's okay. And then when you get back, if you go to church here, I'm sorry, but if you go to church here on Sunday, you can go back to that quietness again. So Tom. John, I was going to say something nice about you, but that went out the window. All right, here we go. My time's now starting. It's 8:19. On this side, all of you young folks, would you look up here just for a moment? You can stop looking at your phone and Googling who in the world is the sermonator. But I want you to look at me. This device I have in my hand is made by the Apple company. So what would you call this? Evil. Seriously, would you remove this young man? It's an iPhone, isn't it? If I brought my pad with me, you would know it's an iPad. Apple has done a great job in marketing all of their products by saying I something. That means it's mine. iPhone, my phone. Not your phone, my phone. Jesus, up to this point, had shown, as you have heard, great concern for others. Amen. Amen. And now we come to a portion he had just experienced being forsaken by the Father, and now he says two words which really are just one word: I thirst. I thirst. This cry that he put out was expressing his own personal need. The only other time I think that we see him actually thirsty was when he was on a journey. And as he was on a journey, he stopped at a special place where a woman was there drawing water from the well. Yes. And he looked at her and he said, hey, I'm thirsty. Yes. Now, we don't have that privilege, I guess, anymore. Maybe some of you in your own homes, you can look at the wifey and you can say, I thirst. And she'll bring you a glass of iced tea, a bucket of water to pour on you or something. But Jesus, because it was the tradition, and she was really at the wrong time of day because of her shame, she was there to draw water, and Jesus said, I'm thirsty. Yes. Boy, he used it for a great illustration, didn't he? And now we see him not any longer on the journey, but at the end of his journey on this earth. And at the end of this journey, he says, I am thirsty. Now, let me tell you something. I don't have to remind you, but I think sometimes I do, in case you're getting sleepy already. Some of you is past your bedtime. But in case you're getting sleepy, I want to remind you that we live in a dry and thirsty land.
Yes.
It is a time of great sorrow. It is a time of great pain. I believe that when each one of us are born, that we are born thirsty.
Yes.
There's something inside of us that's missing. We have a longing to fill whatever that is with something. We know the answer is Jesus.
Yes.
But in the day in which we live, we find on places like Facebook, have you ever been there? Maybe Instagram or Twitter World or whatever it is. And you look at that and you'll see people post things. You'll see young ladies post pictures of themselves scantily clad. And the only reason I know that, people have told me that. And you know what they're crying out to all the men that are looking? They're saying, I'm thirsty. You look at the men and they post the best pictures of themselves. They take their shirt off. They show those bubble things in the middle. I don't know what they're called. Somebody said they're six packs, and I said, that must be, I keep mine well covered because I don't want my six pack to get hurt. But they post all of that, and you know what they're saying? To everybody that looks, they're saying, I'm thirsty.
Yes.
I'm thirsty for the lust of the eyes. I'm thirsty for the lust of the flesh. I'm thirsty for the pride of life. What we find out is their thirst is never, ever quenched.
Yeah.
Jesus promised that woman at the well. He said, listen, I can give you water and you'll never thirst again. There is a good thirst. The Bible tells us in Matthew, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. But the question still remains tonight. Why would the one who could give living water cry out for thirst? Well, let me just briefly give you a piece of my mind and my heart. I pondered on this. After talking to Brother Marty, I'm glad I wasn't alone. You know, it's hard sometimes. You don't think so. You're sitting out there, but you know, preachers have preached on these texts over and over and over and over again. And Lord, give me something new and something fresh. I hope that tonight I can give you some new perspective on this. The first reason I believe that he was thirsty was because he took God's wrath, which is hell, for us.
Yeah.
Now you think about this. Jesus, when he suffered there on the cross, he suffered an eternity of hell for you, Marty.
Yes.
For you, Ira.
Yes.
Art. Art clerk. For whoever you are, he suffered an eternity of hell for you. Pat, he suffered like the half eternity because he's a good guy. Jeremy, he suffered an eternity of hell for him. In just those few moments of time, why do you think God couldn't look at him? Because all hell had been put upon him.
Yes.
The hell that we deserve, he said, was laid upon Jesus. It's no wonder he was thirsty.
My God.
Because we know, the Bible tells us there was a rich man in hell. And he said that rich man in hell said, listen, could you just send Lazarus? Dip the tip of his finger in some water and touch my tongue, for I am tormented.
My God.
Jesus took hell for the whole world. He was thirsty. Secondly, I believe he was thirsty for another reason. Now, the mind is conditioned to let the body know that you're thirsty.
Yeah.
And I've got some sad news for you tonight. Because if that brain stops telling the body to drink, you're going to die. So if you stop being thirsty, you're dying. Now, I want you to know something. I believe that Jesus on the cross looked at those who were crucifying him and said, hey, I thirst. I want you to know I'm still alive. And you can't take my life from me. I lay it down. And so I'm thirsty. If you think I'm dying, then you're fooled. I want something to drink. I'm alive. And I won't die until I say so. Wow. The third reason. I think it reminds me of this thought. His throat was probably parched. He had been speaking some words. And his lips were getting dry. And he realized, I thirst was only the fifth saying. Jesus had more to say. And he said, the only way I'm going to say it, if I get a little water, if I get a little taste of that. Let me tell you what. On the cross, they couldn't shut him up. Let me tell you, children of God, you go through a dark time, you go through those deep valleys, and what do? You just keep silent. But let me tell you something, we should crave that living water so we can praise him. Even with our parched lips, we still have something to declare. Even though it seems like there's no hope, like we're dying, say, Lord, touch my lips. I thirst. Give me something so I can proclaim the goodness. There's some of you that are here tonight that are thirsty spiritually. And I'm going to tell you tonight that only Jesus can satisfy that thirst. You should be crying out tonight before you ever leave this place. Lord, I thirst. Lord, I thirst. Lord, I thirst. And he said, I will satisfy forever that thirst. To the children of God tonight, I'm thirsty. He took the eternity of hell for you and for me. He gave us that living water. And I think we ought to be shouting it from the mountaintops. I think we ought to be hungering and thirsting after righteousness. I am just totally fed up with these mamby-pamby Christians that come to church and all they want the preacher to do is regurgitate something back to them so they don't have to get in the Word, so they don't have to study the Word for themselves. They have no hunger for the Word of God. Listen, this place ought to be packed out tonight because people knew there was going to be preaching of the Word of God, and they ought to say, I want to go. I'm hungry for some preaching from Word of God. He said, I thirst, yet he made the rivers. He said, I thirst, yet he made the seas. I thirst, said the King of the ages. In his great thirst, he brought water to me. In his great thirst, he brought water to me.